Hey y'all, long time no see. I know it's been a while since I last posted and I didn't mean to take a break after Wimbledon, but it just happened. But anyways, I'm just happy to be back, especially for one of my favorite parts of the tennis season, the US Open series. The two biggest tournaments we have this week are the Citi Open, which is a combined ATP and WTA event, and then the Silicon Valley Classic, which is a WTA 500. First, focusing on the action in San Jose, the field is tough and contains some incredible early round matchups. The biggest of them all is undoubtedly Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff, who both played some incredible tennis in their San Jose debuts. Naomi took out China's Qinwen Zheng 6-4, 3-6, 6-1. Now, even though Naomi is the high-ranked player, this was a very good win for her, and this match really could have been the final. Zheng is probably my #1 young up-and-coming player to watch, as her game is so complete. She's had quite a few solid results and actually lost to the past two Slam champions Swiatek and Rebecca in competitive affairs. Naomi, meanwhile, had been absent from the tour for a minute, not playing since May when she lost in the French Open first round to Anisimova. Osaka skipped Wimbledon to allow her Achilles ample time to heal, and clearly that time off did her well. Naomi got first blood, breaking in the third game, thanks to some incredible ball striking on her part. Qinwen did falter a bit and sprayed a bit more errors in that game and the next, but was able to regain her solid level of play. Still, it was no match for Naomi, who served unbelievably well throughout the first set and backed it up with deep penetrating groundies. The level remained high for both in the second set, and this time around, it was Jang who got the first break later on. She consolidated with ease to send it to a decider, but Naomi was able to put an immediate stop to Qinwen's momentum. Osaka broke Zheng twice right off the bat in the third set due to her raising her level of play even higher with her serve and ground stroke consistency. Qinwen's level of course did drop a bit, and while she did fight hard until the very end, she was ultimately no match for Naomi. I thought this match was very good from both players. These two are exceptional ball strikers, and oftentimes I was just in awe by the shot making and amount of pace as well as depth that they got on their shots. I had a feeling this was going to be good, and it definitely didn't disappoint. I'm not surprised that Zhang played as well as she did, because I've been following her steady rise for quite a minute now. Still, I was impressed by how well she defended and moved despite her taller height. As aforementioned, Qinwen's ball striking abilities are phenomenal, and she's undoubtedly going to be a Slam champion in the forthcoming years. The only criticism I have for her is the serve could be a bit more consistent and effective, as well as the return. On the other hand, Naomi did surprise me a bit with her level of play. I was expecting much more rust from her, with this being her first match in a minute, but she handled the occasion wonderfully. I feel like she was aware of the challenge that Zhang posed and was on it from the start, which helped her get that early lead. Naomi's serve was definitely her biggest shot out there, as she hit 11 aces and won 77% of first serve points. That was definitely an issue at Roland Garros, which was partly due to the Achilles injury. The ground game was also very good for the Japanese woman, and she didn't really gift a bunch of unnecessary unforced errors. She made 3 more winners than unforced, and you know Naomi played a good match when there's a positive differential. Of course, Osaka loves hard courts the most, which is partly due to the surer footing she has on it. Her movement out there was very good and was much more explosive, like when she's at her best. Naomi did recently split with Wim Fizet, who coached her to 2 Slam titles in the 2 years that they were together. She's currently working with her father, Leonard, temporarily. Leonard is clearly a good coach for his daughter, as he coached Naomi to 2 back-to-back titles during their brief stint in fall 2019. Osaka also reunited with her former fitness trainer, Abdul Silla, who's also working with Bianca Andreescu, which could be very interesting. Abdul will likely be spending more time with Osaka for the next bit, as Andreescu suffered a back injury during her opening round loss against Shelby Rogers. Andreescu told reporters that she's been feeling back pain for the past few days, and that it flared up midway through the opening set. She got an MRI and hopes to be healthy for when she competes at home in Toronto. Now, when I was watching Naomi, I thought with how she played versus Zhang, her next possible opponent, Coco Gauff, would have little chance to win. Well boy, my mind has surely changed after watching Gauff's opener. Coco played Anhelina Kalinina, who's been playing solid tennis this season, Gauff made her look pedestrian, dispatching the Ukrainian 6-1 6-love. The serve and forehand are two big indicators of Coco's level, and both held up nicely this match. The big standout thing though was her quick, explosive movement. It was almost impossible for Kalinina to get the ball past Gauff because she literally run everything down and turned defense to offense with the snap of a finger. There were at least 5 times where Kalinina had Gauff on the ropes and should have won the point, but Coco just hustled down every last ball and finished out the point with an outstanding winner. One passing shot in particular just had me yelling because it's unbelievable that she was able to get to some of the shots she ran down. Coco does have her own signature tennis shoe, the CG1s, which might be giving her even more speed out there on court. This performance alone is excellent promo for those sneakers. Gauff ended the 54-minute match with 29 winners to just 14 unforced errors. This is by far the best match that she's played in my opinion, and I'm quite sure that she'd agree. She was firing on every last cylinder and definitely looks like a threat to take down Osaka. Now that being said, I still think that Naomi is going to be the slight favorite here, and I'd have her coming through in 3 sets. Naomi and Coco played 3 times, with Osaka leading the head-to-head 2-1. Each time they've met, it's been in the 2nd or 3rd round, and this time unfortunately it's no different. Naomi took their last meeting in Cincinnati, winning 4-6, 6-3, 6-4. That match wasn't the highest quality of tennis, but it was definitely competitive. Both served very well, but it was Naomi who got more looks in her return games, which made the difference. The serve will be a big factor here too, as it's both of these women's biggest weapons out there. Gauff's forehand looked much better against Kalinina, but I still favor Naomi on the baseline exchanges because the quick pace that she gets on her groundies can rush Coco on that wing and extract errors. The forehand is relatively fine for the American when she has time and can generate her own pace, but it can definitely break down under repeated pressure. Kalinina wasn't able to consistently pressure the Gauff forehand nearly as much as Naomi would. Naomi, on the other hand, needs to make sure that she's consistent from the ground and doesn't spray a bunch of balls, like how she did in the Australian Open affair from 2020. Coco definitely has the edge in match toughness, which could help her in the crucial moments, although Naomi did seem to handle them well in the Zheng match. Aside from evening the head-to-head, Gauff is fighting for a top 10 debut here in San Jose. She'll clinch it unless Pliskova or Kalinina go deep here. Looking at the other results in Silicon Valley, Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina lost her first match post-triumph, falling to last year's runner-up Daria Kalinina 1-6, 6-2, 6-love. Rybakina was steamrolling the first part of the match, but Kalinina got a better read on the Kazakhstanian serve and overall ground stroke patterns. Kalinina next faces Taylor Townsend, who won her first tour-level match since giving birth to her son in 2021. The top 4 seeds, Maria Sakkari, Paula Badosa, Ons Jabeur, and Arna Sabalenka, all began their campaigns playing against Americans. Anisimova is there too, and will look to finally get revenge over Karolina Pliskova. Transitioning to talking about the Citi Open, the biggest name in action, Venus Williams, bowed out to Rebecca Marino 4-6, 6-1, 6-4 in the opening round. This was Venus's first match in nearly a year, but she honestly didn't play like it, coming out with some solid serving which prohibited Marino from getting any break looks in the opening set. Williams also moved surprisingly well, hitting some magnificent forehand cross-court winners on the run. She wasn't able to sustain that level in the second set, while Marino upped the ante even more to cruise through. In the decider, Venus fought well early on, which earned her a break advantage and a 4-1 lead. At this point, the serve completely let her down, and she got broken with ease her following 2 service games. V did have a break point at 4-3, but just couldn't convert, which ultimately proved to be the nail in the coffin. This was definitely a disappointing loss for Venus because she had this match on her racket. It would have been hers if her serve held up and if she cleaned the errors up a bit more. I think the biggest issue on her serve is actually the toss because it's pretty inconsistent and that can mess up everything else with it. The lack of overall match reps could have definitely been a factor as she looked to be a bit fatigued towards the end of the match. Regardless, this was a very positive performance from the 7-time slam champion. The forehand looked much more solid and that shot can be her Achilles heel at times. V's movement looked very good too, especially considering that she's 42 years old. She can do great wonders when she's fully healthy and fit, and it's just great to have her back and pain-free. The past few years, Venus has played through some ailments, which which is a big contributor to some of her poor performances. In fact, in my opinion, whenever she's healthy, she looks to be a pretty dangerous contender, so once again, I'm glad that she took the time to fully heal any of her issues. Like I said before, Venus played well considering the hiatus, and this is a positive step in the right direction for her. She'll be back next week in Marino's backyard actually for the Toronto 1000. Sister Serena, who will be making her return there next week too, has been practicing in DC the past few days, so we'll see how she does there. Another woman who made her singles comeback in DC was 2020 Citi Open champion Sofia Kenin. Kenin fell to Camila Osorio 7-6-6-1, and the match was quite weird to say the least. Sonia came out a bit shaky and went down 5-2 before she started to regain her rhythm and rode off 4 straight games to serve for the set. At that point, everything just went to the dogs as the errors began creeping back in, allowing Osorio to cruise to victory. This was Sonia's first match since March at Indian Wells, as she dealt with a serious ankle injury that left her in a splint. It'll take Kenin a while before she gets back to her 2020 level, but she is making strides, as last week she was losing to ball boys. As of me recording this, all the top seeds in DC on the women's side are still alive, with Jessica Pegula, Emma Raducanu, Simona Halep, and Victoria Azarenka advancing through their openers and straights. It's kind of similar on the men's side, as there haven't been any notable upsets. One big name, Andy Murray, did fall, but other than that, the stars are still there as of me speaking right now. Then in Los Cabos, Mexico, world number 1 Daniil Medvedev along with Felix Auger-Aliassime and Cam Norrie headline action. Before I ended this video, I wanted to shout out some of the title winners in the previous 2 weeks. Francisco Cerundolo, Maxime Cressy, and Lorenzo Musetti were all crowned first-time ATP champions, winning Bastad, Newport, and Hamburg respectively. American Bernardo Pera won back-to-back titles in Budapest and Hamburg, going on a 12-match win streak. 19-year-old Carlos Alcaraz did not manage to win a title, but he did make back-to-back finals and made his top 5 debut. Jannik Sinner and Alex de Minaur won Umag and Atlanta respectively. On the women's side, Caroline Garcia backed up her upset win over Iga Swiatek, winning the title in Warsaw. Meanwhile, Marie Boskova won at home in Prague, hitting a whopping 0 winners in the finals against Potapova. Anyways, that's all I have for you all in this video, and let me know in the comments what you think about Naomi and Coco San Jose openers and their upcoming match. Are you picking Osaka or Gauff? Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.